Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Week Roundup. I'm your host, Jake Friel. To my left is Steve Reichel. And as always, producing the show, the great and powerful Ralph DeVecchio on the ones and twos.
Yep. I'm the best here. Plain and simple.
He's just here so he doesn't get fined. It's all good. But we got a jam-packed show for you guys today. Big fight day as well.
Yes. Fight day. Absolutely.
Going to talk a little Sixers versus Bucks this afternoon. Going to be talking about with the Alshon Jeffery news this past week. Going to be talking a little Ron Hextall on the Flyers and his contribution to where the Flyers are right now, at least when he was our 10-year GM. And also at the tail end of the show, we're going to be giving our Fury versus Wilder preview as well as hold on, what's the other fight, Steve?
We got the come on,
UFC
man.
fight night
come
tonight.
on, what's going on? I talked about it. All right, man. Listen, I know you guys aren't really all on it, but I mean it's a big one for all of us. I mean you got to think of it. You got the big Sixers game.
Mm-hmm.
You know that's huge. You know on the road against the Bucks, that's big.
Mm-hmm.
We got the Wilder Fury 2 fight. You know didn't kind of end the way anyone really wanted it in that last one.
Right.
So we got to run that one back. And Paul Felder and Daniel Hooker are going at it. Hooker, however you want to do it.
Hooker, either or.
I've interviewed Daniel a few times. He's an awesome guy. He's a good fighter, man. But Paul's an animal. He's a guy from the area, man. So he's main eventing down there in Auckland, down there and hitting that kid's backyard. It's gonna be a big fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Leading up to the poll question, the Sixers will beat the Bucks. Agree or disagree?
Oh man, there's too many questions surrounding this tonight, man. I mean, is Ben Simmons going to be play? How effective he's going to be? Back stiffness. He's one of our really our athletic guys out there on the perimeter. We need him. I think more along we need his defense a whole lot more than his. On the outside perimeter scoring. The way he does those type things, we need that in this game.
Yeah.
You have to see how the rotation works out because I think Horford's still going to be coming off the bench, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said last time, he hasn't performed. Hopefully this starts, waking something up in the big man here. We need to get something going there out of him. That bench came up big in the overtime there. So, we got to see how this goes. But, I mean, the Bucks have been rolling. Giannis is an animal.
He's a freak.
Joel, showed out the last game. So
he's getting back to his old self, which I like. So,
again, people are going to say, "Oh, but Simmons is out."
Yeah, I hear you.
We're getting these freaking idiots. I'm getting sick of it.
Right. Well, I think the last game showed a lot of people is that how effective, or how I should say ineffective, the Sixers were without Ben Simmons. And I think people are kind of starting to realize, be like, oh, well.
Yeah, well, the whole trade, either one of them thing, just, you just need to find a rotation that works.
That works for all of them, yeah.
I still think that, the BB may be the problem at this point, as much as I love him.
Yeah, I agree.
I do. I love Brett Brown, but, you may need to get someone else in here to kind of
get more out of these players.
Just kind of break up the family kind of thing where it's like it's almost like it's taboo to put somebody in their place with some of these guys. It's
right.
Like it's kind of the feel you get.
Yeah, no, I completely
So
agree.
like until they do that, this game is so important on so many levels. It's a road game. You have to get this mental block, I guess you would have to say, because they just have not performed well on the road at all this year. I don't even think do they even have 10 wins on the road this year?
I think it's 7 or 8 on the road, I think. And we have the best record at home, which is crazy.
That's what I'm saying. For multiple reasons, you have to beat this team in their house in the regular season. It's a psychological thing for them.
Yeah,
you have to do it. They have to win this game. Will they do it? It's up to they put it all together. That the Bucks are playing good, like I said, man, and Giannis does more than put that team on his back, and he gets more out of his supporting guys than the Sixers have right now. You know, Tobias is so hot and cold, or hit or miss right now. It's you don't know where you're going to get at him, and then I think that's probably the problem, that the angst that our fan base has is just, we're paying these guys all this money. You see the talent, you see how good they are. Even to the point where you could put the bias down there and power forward, and it's like, and you're not missing anything. You're not losing anything because how big these guys are. So it's like you have it there. It's almost like we're hoping that it comes together once the playoff comes around. But like if it doesn't, it's gonna be nasty in the city.
It's gonna be real nasty. Yeah.
Yeah. So this game's really important on that level. I mean, what do you? I think it's going to be a loss, unfortunately. I think it is.
Yeah.
I love my team, but just the way, and also the way they're playing at home, you have to put that into a factor. And they're just, they're still not. We still haven't found an identity as a team
on the road, which is crazy.
You still haven't found an identity as a team when we're past the All-Star break.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same thing that you talk about in football. Like you get through a portion of the season and you know who you are. Do you know who this team is?
Right. No, I know what you mean.
You still don't have an outside shooter.
Right. which is really crazy. Before I get to my point, we are brought to you by Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy. Call the doc. Burlington, Cherry Hill, and Princeton locations as well. We are brought to you by Ambuck Services. Weather's nice outside. Get your gutters fixed. Get your, I think it's gutters, fences. There's a couple other things that I can't remember off the top of my head. They also do decks. As well. Call Ambuck Services, 856-879-5530. Number again is 856-879-5530, Ambuck Services. Call them today. Now, I think with me personally, I have to lean towards disagree as well, just because of everything you stated and just how, for lack of a better word, just how piss poor they are on the road.
I mean, I think the way they win this is off the bench. You're gonna have to have an amazing game at a Forcon again. He's gonna have to put up a 20 spot.
Yeah,
and Al's gonna have to find a way to get 15 to 18 points somewhere around there. He needs to do that. You need to get production off the bench because you don't know how consistent the players out of your starters are right now. And like I said, like you have to make it work.
Yeah.
Brett has to find something. He has to rotation. He has to get sparks out of guys. Listen, the nice guy time is over. You need a There's always comes a time where you got to stick a fork in these guys and see how they act. Well, it's that time of year.
Yeah, I completely agree. They have to something has to change regardless, whether it's Brett's philosophy or whoever's lack of aggression. They have to be aggressive moving forward. Now, mind you, closing out the season, these last couple games, they have arguably one of the easiest schedules in the league. So I think that helps a little bit as far as giving them momentum.
Yeah, and they're starting to make headway back up, but literally when we started this season, we were talking about like 60-some wins.
Yeah.
And looking at it now, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, probably not.
So, yeah.
I mean, again, it'd be nice because
listen, I'll take a mid to like 3-4 if they're healthy.
Right.
If they're completely healthy. Everything's starting to work. I'll take the lower seed at that point in time.
Okay,
that's a fair trade-off in my opinion.
Yeah. Now it just depends. Do you think, and this goes for the fam as well, do you think they can make it out of the second round of the playoffs?
I don't know.
That's where I'm at too.
I don't know. You don't know what you can't. I can't, like if I'm sitting there, if someone's saying like we're gonna go make a bet and we're gonna sit there, I would say I'm not, like, I'm good. I'll pass.
Right.
Hey, someone else.
Yeah, I
just
can't see it.
you don't know with this team right now, and it's so troubling because it's like you shouldn't. We came into this season like and as much as you like Josh Richardson, he has not performed or worked out the way he should have.
Yeah.
Same thing with Al. Like, it
You're
sucks.
paying a guy $107 million to come off the bench, so he can.
Yeah, but also you're basically paying him to get him out of Boston.
Right.
That's what you were doing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's be really honest about that.
Yeah. You took the guy that can shut down Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Out of Boston.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
But he's not the problem now. Now, I still think you still have to be worried about the Raptors because of how we played them this year.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless if Kawhi's not there or not. I mean, that was bad.
Yeah, I agree.
And Siakam is really starting to become a big player for that team too.
Mm-hmm.
So they're starting to find their identity as a team without Kawhi, and they look like they really haven't missed anything.
Which is
crazy.
Which is crazy.
It's crazy.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
But again, the Raptors have always been that team where they have they play phenomenal in the regular season and they just shit the bed in the postseason. Aside from last year when they had Kawhi, but
yeah, but also, what do you think it does? Because they didn't really lose anyone. What do you think it does to have a guy like that show them how to go into the playoffs
and how to win?
Like,
yeah.
Listen, like, dude, like we talk about it in other sports and in other avenues, like going in and having a guy to do that. Like, you may lose him. Like, you could have think of it as just them picking up a guy who used to be a great guy who was 1 year he was going to retire. You got to think of it that way instead of that you were losing a superstar to another team.
Yeah.
That you were just getting this guy who was going to show you how to do it and how to put these things together. Because you got to remember, he was with San Antonio for so long. So it's like sometimes you need something like that with some of these guys and like that. Like, I still think, like, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out when we go into the playoffs, regardless of seeding or whatever. 7 games is rough. We're not going to have we're not going to have the matchups where we want it to be.
Yeah.
But if we can steal some of the, like some of the early first 2 games in some of these series, we should be all right. If we can go in there building and beat them at least once to switch it, where Game 6 is to us, that's big.
Who scored the goal, Ralphie? Flyers against Winnipeg. Scott Lawton just scored for the Flyers. We have the game on in the studio right now. Flyers up 1-0. 17:54 in the first. Oh, he went coast to coast. Nice play. Okay. They're so good. But yeah. I mean, again, I'd like to see the Sixers win tonight. But again, it wouldn't shock me if they just laid a brick.
I don't think they can't lay a brick. If they lay a brick, we have a problem.
Yeah.
They cannot. They have to show up. If they lose a tight game, and Milwaukee winds up pulling away at the end and making it like a 8 to 10 point win, I'm not upset with that. But if you're getting blown 15-20, like how it was in that Raptor game that night.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't ever want to see that again.
Where it was just a complete and utter collapse. And nothing was going in.
You can't quit, man.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you look at, we're talking about like how other teams in the city like feed off of the other teams. Like, look at what happened with that Eagles team, and they, like, we're seeing how, like, when Nigel Bradham left talking about how they no matter what, they stay together. Like, listen, it doesn't matter how bad it is during that night, man. You like, y'all are a team. Y'all have to stay together and stay the course.
I agree.
Shots aren't falling. All right, fine. Then y'all have to slam them boards. Then you have to do something. You guys are one of the biggest teams in the NBA. I really don't.
I don't get why Brett doesn't.
I don't want to hear it.
Well, I forget what game it was, but I know. I'm trying to remember. I think it was a couple weeks ago. Brett utilized them in the paint real well, and they had like 40, 50 points from the paint.
Well, listen, we have a team that apparently adopts to our personality as a city, right? Because of Joel Embiid, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, regardless, he's supposed to be the leader. They should never quit a game.
I agree.
I mean, I think if anything, I would say that they're saying, like, people been sitting there saying there's a problem in their locker room. It's maybe a problem of who they feel the leader should be.
Yeah, no, I agree with
I
that.
don't think there's a problem of who likes who. I don't think there's ever been a problem of that. And I think that's probably what maybe, like, people are trying to, like, read more into. And yeah, I think Joe and them are right. They've been trying to destroy them too for 2 seasons now.
Yeah, I agree. But honestly, I think it's really they just need to get Brett out, in my opinion. I think it's going to
but if you do that, you have to keep him around. He loves them guys so much.
I don't have
I
an
think
issue
some
with
ways you have to keep him there, but you have to have someone else as you know, you know, maybe you have some guy who's like a Jerry Stackhouse of the world who's a coach or something like that, and have him like, okay, he's now the coach, but Brett's still like, the special assistant to the head coach, kind of like what they've been doing with Deuce. You can't lose Brett in that way because he means so much to not just that franchise, but those guys in that room. Mm-hmm. And I just think if you change part of that and give someone else a voice that kind of he's not either he's not listening or the team's not listening.
It's one of the
two. So if we're sitting here playing devil's advocate at this point in time, it's easier to get rid of the coach than it is to get rid of a player to kind of see what's what. Yeah. And it'll be easy. And the problem is where we're at. We're gonna have to ride the season, have to see how it goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. So obviously, a couple days ago, there was a report that came out that Eagles are open to move wide receiver Alshon Jeffery, per The Athletic. So, do the Eagles actually move on from Alshon Jeffery this offseason?
Well, it depends on in what manner and shape, form that takes. I mean, that report was also preceded to the report that there's language in the contract that if they can
prove it.
Yeah, but if that pulled out, that means they already got an investigator already turning over stones right now. Mm-hmm. So let's be honest, to see if they can just get null and voided. The only way it happens is you find a trade partner. Yeah. And Eagles get something significant back in return to take a $10 million cap hit. I mean, it's better than having to cut him and taking a $23 million
or something like that. Yeah.
But you have to find someone to do business. I mean, you still have the Cleveland Browns thing up, but I think you might have to get rid. You might have to move some of those picks around to kind of work something out. Mm-hmm. It's rough. I mean you put yourself in a rough, like Alshon Jeffery. This was the nightmare that the other regime of Andy Reid had with Terrell Owens, that the Eagles gave him what he wanted, and it got worse. Yeah. And then now we're hearing this thing that they butted heads and they never got along, and this is starting to get really
Alshon, yeah.
What possibly could he have said or done? Like he offered you to fly you out to with the rest of the wide receivers to kind of
train in the offseason.
Like you could have buried what other issues you had right then and there. Was it you felt like he was targeting freaking Ertz over you? When I'm like, how do you think you were getting so wide open? Right. How do you think you were making those big splash plays? Like that's what made him so special in that 17th season. Is he was those possession ones, but he would also, because we were hammering them with the runs and some of that stuff inside, that's how we got those big spectacular catches. You know, he's not going to be the guy that's going to burn you up in the 40, but he's the guy that when you have other weapons around you and you leave him alone and he forget about you, he hammers you. And that's what made him so special in that season, because when you're running Ertz down in the middle of the field, where's that safety coming? He's coming down. So now you can hit him over the top. And I guess, if that's the case, man, go see, you work out something in Jacksonville. Well, let's see, because he obviously,
loves Foles. So.
He loves Foles so much. All right, well, who's the running back again?
Leonard Fournette.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah, I mean.
They say he ain't working out there. He whatever. Let's give us Leonard Fournette. Let's trade Alshon Jeffery. give them like a 4th round pick. Let's work that one out.
Yeah. I mean,
but you still have to figure out to see what's going on because everyone's still talking about Cleveland.
Yeah, and I know too that there was reports saying that Adam Gase is a big fan of Alshon Jeffery, and so's what's her our former GM, what's his name? Or assistant GM.
You were talking about going to the Jets. Yeah, and
so they have that connection. I mean, Adam Gase was with them back in Chicago,
and their safety wants to win now, and that would solve one of the other problems with either.
So you'd have to give them Alshon and like a 2nd round pick or something like that. For Jamal Adams.
Yeah, but that would be worth it then.
Oh yeah, I'd sign him tomorrow. I'd trade him and sign Jamal Adams tomorrow. I'd do that in an instant. But again, this is going to be a huge, big time off season for the Eagles. Especially around the NFL too, with the Brady stuff.
He's not going to have the breathing room that he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to address this linebacker position. I keep telling you guys that they need to do something.
Yeah.
You know, it sucks.
I'm hoping they get a free agent. That's what I'm hoping for.
But who's gonna make an impact on this team? I mean, the only thing you could hope is that they go out and get a linebacker that you hope like you can call up Denver and see if you could draft day you can make a move and acquire a guy like a Von Miller or something like that. You need somebody of that caliber on that defense not in the secondary in that box.
Mm-hmm.
Who's supposed to be in that box all the time.
Right.
We haven't had a linebacker really, really, really like that since Trot.
Yeah.
We haven't.
Aside from that 1 year with Jordan Hicks, but then he was never healthy. But you sent him to Arizona.
And then but everything after that, it's been project guys. And the Joe Mazes of the world and stuff like that. Like we've had that. Like we love these blue collar guys. Yeah, they're great for special teams and they're great for situational type stuff. Yes, we love them. Don't get us wrong, but we need somebody who can get up in there between Cox and Malcolm and start freaking smashing guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and not just that, to be able to go out there in the flat and start and give guys like Saquon Barkley things to think about.
Yeah.
And then you give us these guys like Nate Gary. Nate Gary is a monster for freaking playing through that season with sports hernia. That's freaking insane.
That's impressive.
But he's another one of these guys. He's
like a project guy.
He's a tweener guy. The same thing with Camus. He's a tweener guy. I love him. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? But he's not guys that are going to get this thing done. They need to do a lot of help. They need a lot of work with there.
Yeah.
So when we're still going back to this Alshon thing, they still have so many other things to think about. So when you do it, you have to look at and maybe. You maybe have to give up a third, but maybe go get another piece to free up a thing, and then we go get the free agent wide receiver from the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Go get him to kind of fill that hole, and maybe you don't get on the Odell sweepstakes.
Yeah, I would love to have Odell. I think me and Ralphie have been the biggest ones on
that. Dude, I can't tell you, my kid has been like sitting there. He's been asking me every day since like he's seen something or one of his friends in school said something, and it's going to be, oh, my God.
I would love to have Odell here.
Dude, the fact of the matter that if you would put him on the field with Deshaun Jackson on the other side, and they already have there at that time, you just run 12.
Yeah, and
you run 12 personnel all day long.
Yeah, and you still need to draft a rookie that can stretch the field too, because
but you do that in the draft, and we already have in a situation where you do that. But I also said the other thing is the free agent. I think you go get that left guard from New England, Joe Thuey or whatever his name.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
make another trade to get freaking Sayamalu out of there. Like I said, try to fill some other needs on defense or whatever. You need to we were talking about it. You have to fix that left side of that offensive line.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's the problem. And then not only that, we also have to draft somebody who's going to replace Kelsey in the next few years.
Yeah, whether it be in the next year or two. Yeah.
You're right. I don't know if they're going to keep Sayamalu around and convert him back over to center, because that's what he initially was, a guard center. Yeah. So I don't know. And then you still don't know what you got with
They score again? Yeah, they scored again. 2-0 Flyers.
Who was that in the first 15 minutes?
Yeah, yeah.
First 5.
Yeah, first 2 goals in less than 5 minutes. That's awesome.
That's Winnipeg. They're not the team they used to be.
Well, they were bragging about him on CSN just a couple minutes ago when me and Ralphie during the pre-show, they were like, "Oh, well, Winnipeg's been hot lately, and they've been one of the tougher teams in the conference." So, what a play!
Well, I think it's about that time that we talk about them, right? Or
yeah, might as well.
Since they're doing their thing, right? So.
Are they going to call offsides?
Eh.
I hope not. But obviously some people don't want to talk about it because certain people have a sore spot in their heart for Ron Hextall. But me personally, I have to take a minute and thank Ron Hextall for putting the Flyers in this position.
Listen. He didn't quite give us a cup when he was a player. Then a lot of people felt that he felt short in certain aspects as a GM. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing: if you knew that he was good at the one side of it and didn't feel that him going through free agency and that type of stuff, that he was doing his job there, but we already knew where his strong suit was at because of where did he come up through? He came up through the AHL through the Phantoms and all that with Murray and all that. I remember watching freaking Frank Bialow was fighting Calder Cup. I'm sitting there in my seats. I'm looking right to the left. I mean, there's Murray and Hextall just sitting there watching the game.
Yeah. So
dude, he was about the developmental part of it. Mm-hmm. And they knew that. And if everyone had a problem with that, then they should have brought someone else in with him. Like, this is your special assistant. He's to take care of this part of it.
Yeah.
So you want to get upset about it, fine. You get upset about it. But the team that he's constructed, that is now what is he 2 years removed now?
Yeah, almost 2 years. Yeah. Right
so
there.
yeah, so this is the team that he built, regardless of what anyone says. I mean,
and you still have one of the best farm systems in the league. You still have a lot of young and talented guys.
Exactly. So I'm still starting to think
this team's going to be good for a long, long time.
Not just that this offseason, I think some of the big faces need to move on and go make some moves to get some more guys in here.
Yeah. No,
as much as listen, this team is definitely gonna make the playoffs, and I see them winning at least one series.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, I think that the Giroux and Voraceks of the team anymore. They're not getting it.
Yeah, Giroux's still effective though. But
he is effective, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna sting a lot of us. This is, just like when we had to get rid of Simmons.
Yeah.
Like that stuff stung, and then when we had to watch freaking Carter and them go win cups for the freaking Kings, that hurt. It's things like this is part of the business. So it's when we look at how this team is moving forward for the betterment of this team and this franchise, you have to do something with them guys while you still can.
Right.
And it's not to sit there and say we don't I don't have love for where they've taken this team and what they've done for it, but look, we have to make sure that over the next 5 to even 10 years that this team and this franchise is going to be a winning one, and that could win one if not multiple cups.
Yeah. My only issue when it comes to the whole moving on from Giroux thing, that's a lot of points that you're going to lose off your off that line. Now, if you can find a solid replacement for Giroux,
but that's why I'm saying you go talk to somebody like Edmonton.
You'd have to.
You already know where I'm going with this.
I know exactly where you're going, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
And he's already been saying he wants to get out of there, right?
I know he's had issues.
So and you send him. You send Giroux back to Canada.
Wow.
You give up some chips. You make that happen. Tell me this team does not win multiple cups.
It's got to fill the people in at home who you're talking about, though. because I know
Go
some
ahead.
people
Go
aren't
ahead.
too.
Go ahead.
You got it.
No, you got man.
No, you're the what do you call it? You're the new guy.
I'm not the new guy here, man.
I'll let you. What do you call it?
We're just getting this thing started, man. I mean, it has to. You have to make that happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, even if you have to give up both of them, even if you have to give up Voracek and Giroux and maybe one prospect, but then they have to give us a pick back.
Yeah.
Make that happen.
For the people that aren't sure at home, obviously we're talking about the man, the myth, the legend, Connor McDavid. So you're gonna have to give up like a king's ransom to get Connor McDavid.
He's worth it.
Oh no, I completely agree.
All right, he broke his leg. How's he look this year?
Still look pretty.
Okay, all right, that's what I'm saying. This guy is like, listen. Remember how everyone talked about Lindros, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be Eric Lindros with what they got. They got not one, but he got two more than serviceable goalies.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't that team.
Right.
They have a farm system. It's you give up the king's ransom.
Yeah.
Now, why you can still do it?
Yeah, I completely agree.
And like, look, it's crazy thinking. You may think I'm crazy. Look, I've loved hockey was one of my first loves, man.
Mm-hmm.
Rick Tocchet, watching him freaking smash some Penguins in the early days before he became a Penguin.
Right.
But I mean, look, it's crazy, but like you have to be realistic when you look at this.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Flyers fans are probably gonna come out in full force and want to freaking lynch me, but hey, listen, I love these guys, I do. Giroux is reason why they've gotten some of the love that we have in the city for it.
Yeah, I agree.
He's kept it alive. He's kept it relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time to go. I love him.
Yeah. Let's
make the push for the next decade and do what we have to do. Not to sit there and say that I'm not gonna miss him, because we are gonna miss him. And like you said, that's a lot of points that you have to replace.
Yeah. Let me get to the comments real quick. Christopher Getty says Flyers are are playing with more heart than the Sixers team we have. Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Definitely.
Ricky Galone also says, to our Ron Hextall point, he restocked the pond amazingly, but he wasn't great when it came to free agency and trades. No, you're right.
That's exactly what we said.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's why exactly I said they knew that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sit there and tell me that organization did not know that was not his strong suit. So you cannot be mad at Ron for that. You cannot. That is on the Flyers organization. And that's why a lot of the people who are not who are fans but also know the other side of it is like you have to be weary about this organization.
Yeah,
you have to be.
Yeah,
and this is why. They set Ron up to fail, just so everyone knows that.
Yeah, they didn't do much to help him. But again, he gave us a phenomenal farm system, and we still have a lot of young talent.
They did not want to wait for his farm for the guys to develop and make it up there. So they basically punished him for it because they weren't developing at the rate they wanted them to.
Yeah,
and this fan base, this city is hungry.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think we can all remember the whole Carter Hart saga for 2 or 3 years. Everyone was saying, bring this kid up. And they kept revving him up, saying he won an MVP in the minor leagues. He was the best goalie 2 years in a row in the minor leagues. Everyone's like, bring this kid up now. Same thing with Morgan Frost. He was killing it in the minors. I mean, we brought him up. He showed some flashes here and there. He's not ready yet, and that's fine. He's still a young kid. And Carter Hart's still a young kid, but he's doing phenomenal right now.
Yep, there's his last 20 games.
.943 save percentage, 1 shutout, goals allowed 1.62,
15-2. He's a winner, man.
2. He's only 21.
Like I said,
he's only 21.
You have the pieces in place.
Yeah.
Listen, this is how you get things done. We cannot like. I guess it's one of the things I guess I really loved about covering MMA. It kind of taught me to lose that personal attachment to people because everything changes so much in that landscape that sometimes it just gets to a point where you have to do what's best for your team. As much as listen, it's not look what the Eagles turned around and did with Brent Selleck and Darren Sproles. Yeah, eventually your guys that are that special are going to stay around in some way, shape, or form, whether it's via the organization's front office or through coaching.
Yeah.
They'll come back. We'll always love these guys. These guys will always have a piece of our hearts because freaking that's who we are. That's what most of us Philadelphia fans in the area love. It's it's why it's tough to play here. It's why when you're loved, it's that they don't ever want to go anywhere else.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You don't have to buy a meal here ever again. But let's see what else. Ricky Glone also says there's no way to get him for Giroux, Voracek, and a prospect. Well, obviously, but you'd have to give up.
Like I said, it's not just that.
Yeah.
Like I said, whatever it takes at that point in time, that's not going to get it done. Exactly, yeah. But listen, whatever it would take, I'm not telling you to sell the entire farm.
No,
I'm not telling you to do that. You're gonna have to give up, at least two, nice prospects.
Yeah.
You give them two star forwards and throw a first round pick in there that you're not gonna freaking give a rat's patoot about.
Yeah.
And say, hey, let's make it happen.
The city would literally be on fire if we got Connor McDavid.
I mean, you want to talk listen. Was it you guys remember the movie Draft Day?
Yeah.
Make a splash.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to make if you Flyer fans really, really, really want hockey to be reborn in this city, this is what you need.
Yeah.
As much as we love Voracek and Giroux, they are not superstars.
Right.
And they come few and far between in hockey.
Mm-hmm.
It's like freaking, you're looking for the needle in the haystack.
Right.
Connor McDavid is it.
Mm-hmm.
He has the, for all intents and purposes in today's game, he has the full package.
Yeah, he does.
All right, he's not that old. It's not like you're going to get an Alexander Ovechkin.
Mm-hmm.
Who's got a lot of miles on there. And by the way, dude, that dude is freaking, is probably one of the most underrated superstars in the NHL right now.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to talk about freaking Sydney, but he wins with a better support cast. What Ovi's done over the long period of time,
he's been consistent
with almost nothing,
and he's been consistent. And
but that's what I'm saying. Connor McDavid is going to be in that ilk in less than 5 years.
Yeah, I agree.
Make it happen.
Oh yeah, I'd be all about it. Rick also says give them G, Voracek, Ghost, and a farm guy. You'd have to give up more than that, though.
No, yeah. Listen, go. I'm good as much as that stings because I love Ghost, but but sometimes you have these things where it's a mental thing. He's not. Sometimes it's the change especially for hockey guys. It's
a change of scenery helps
it's
a lot.
really it's really weird how just a change in scenery can just revamp who a player is in hockey. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, make it happen.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I think that when this season's over, this is something that they need to entertain. You have that that game day GM type of mentality where you have to do something to make something happen.
Mm-hmm.
Make it happen.
Yeah, I agree.
You need something if you want to not just be relevant in this city, but to make something special happen in this city for a long time.
Yeah.
The Sixers have done something to do that. The Phillies have done something to do that.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles have done something to do that. The Flyers have not done nothing in almost a decade.
Yeah, I agree.
In that sense, as making splash moves.
Well, if you want to talk about the last big splash that the Flyers made, we're
talking
Primo. Either that or you're talking Lindros. It's one of the
Lindros, yes, but since then it was Primo, and that was but Keith was on the you got the last 3 years out of him.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like what do you want to talk about? Daniel Briere?
Yeah.
And Danny Briere was a great Flyer for us.
Mm-hmm.
I loved him. He used to murder us.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's one of these things where but it's not that he's not the headliner.
Yeah.
He's the supporting cast.
Yeah. And you bring Connor McDavid in here, then it's just
with these guys. Forget about it.
Sean Couturier is playing the best hockey of his career,
and that's what I'm saying. When you have guys like Couturier's and that, it's just and they still don't even have their best young forward on the ice,
which is crazy. And Nolan Patrick.
Yes. And then you still have another guy dealing with medical issues who was a big part of their early success. So
once they get those guys back, it's basically.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like you have to do it now.
Yeah. No, I agree. But would you be open to giving up a Patrick for?
No.
Okay.
He's there's your goalie Sean, Couturier, Patrick. Yeah, those are untouchable items right now.
Okay.
They're the guys that are going to make not only Connor McDavid be even better star, but vice versa. Like,
right.
You don't understand it. And when he finds out how this city is with hockey, it's gonna be the whole. It's gonna be the whole thing. But it was like when Bryce Harper, like he didn't really know what to expect, and you're hearing these reports now. People talking about it, he's like, I don't want to ever go anywhere.
He doesn't want to go anywhere else. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you're going to have that. Like sometimes it's like you get we still get stuck on this freaking stigma from freaking the outside media about how people perceive Philadelphia. But like, listen, get him in here. You've gotten all you could have gotten out of these guys. Do what you have to do to move on and make this franchise win cups.
Yeah.
Not be competitive, not go for deep playoff runs, win cups. Until then, Flyers fans, I love you. You need to hold your organization absolutely accountable to make stuff like this happen because you haven't had anything.
Yeah.
And you want to get upset about media, about guys like us who do these type of shows. Hold them accountable. Listen, we want to hold them accountable just as much as you are, but you got to make the noise. Yeah. You have to care.
Tommy also says, "Yo, fam, I agree to the poll." What's up, Tommy? Flyers are up currently 2-0 against Winnipeg with 3:30 left in the first. All right, so that's all said and done. So, fight night tonight. Big fight night tonight. You have your, like you said earlier, you kind of have your pick of the litter with the Sixers game tonight.
Yeah.
You have UFC fight night, and you also have the Tyson Fury Wilder fight.
It's a party night, especially nice weather out. Come on, man.
Dude, it's, what do you call it? And I know the guys from Kicking It Stateside. You can check those guys out before my show on Saturdays. We might just skip winter. we might just skip winter.
I already told you guys, it's crazy.
We might just skip.
We haven't had a real winter in like 5 years.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Like a legitimate, like long.
I mean, it's been cold
winter.
We haven't had a real winter in some time. It's bad.
I mean, if global warming means I get to deal with like 50, 60 degree weather, I'm not complaining. So.
Yeah.
But so Tyson Fury.
We got the Gypsy King, man, and Deontay Wilder is, this generation's Mike Tyson, for lack of a better term. People may get upset with that. Mike Tyson's my era, man. And I'm telling you, Deontay Wilder is special. He is. The numbers don't lie for a reason. His knockout ratio does not lie for a reason.
Yeah.
He dropped Tyson. Let's not forget that. He put his hands on him and put him on the mat. And as much as Tyson wants to talk about he's coming in heavier for X reason, man, listen, I learned a lot of things about in the fight game. When people come in heavy at heavyweight is not a good thing.
Yeah.
Not at heavyweight. Never. Never, never, never. Remember to move to Great White Hype, right? Yeah. Let's go back to that. This is not going to happen. That is not going to, but here's the thing that makes Tyson different. It's his footwork, man.
Yeah.
His footwork is so amazing.
For a big guy, yeah.
Yeah, man. He moves like a welterweight for his
as big as he is.
His head movement, body movement, and that's the thing. If it doesn't really it didn't really slow him down and bother his knees where he couldn't train to the point, then maybe it does work in his advantage. As they're talking about it, that he's gonna try to knock him out within the first 2 rounds. That he's gonna put him in there, and I've still seen guys get knocked out moving backwards. Moving forwards, chasing a guy.
Right.
It happens. If you're able to create a little distance, turn them hips over and plant them feet.
Right.
And Deontay Wilder is one of the best of them at turning people's lights out.
Well, Deontay Wilder, how old is he now? He's 30-something, I think? Or no? He's still in his 20s. Let me see. Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder. He is the ripe age of 34. Okay, so that's not too bad.
Yeah,
34.
I mean, you got to think, he's been in the game for some time.
Yeah.
So you got these guys, they're at their prime. They've already had the first fight. Like I said, not quite what the fans wanted, but as far as entertainment value, it is exactly what everyone could have possibly asked for. Promoters, this is exactly what they could have ever asked for.
Right.
And first and foremost, a big middle finger to the Nevada State Athletic Commission for not letting these guys stay. Like, listen. I don't agree with freaking Conor McIdiot often, but yeah, that puts some extra security on the stage, maybe a few police officers, and you let them look at these guys one last time to give them the fans what they wanted. Worst case scenario, they should have did their own freaking stare off in the freaking parking lot afterwards.
Right.
I mean, it's part of the things in the fight game. I get it.
Just selling promos and whatever.
Yeah,
so.
but listen, was the last time something really crazy like that happened? Was it John Jones and Daniel Cormier?
Something I think that's
as far as both sports, there really hasn't been
anything nuts. No.
Yeah, like since the Tyson days, really too.
Yeah.
You haven't no. I mean, you've seen some videos. I've seen guys getting knocked out on weigh-ins, doing some stupid nonsense stuff that. But as far as when we're talking about big money fights and stuff like that, it doesn't really happen too often.
Yeah, no, not at all.
These guys have a mutual respect for each other. So it might have been some pushing and shoving and words or whatever.
They don't really hate each other.
They're not good. They're not going to be fucking throwing punches at each other. Guys, come on. Get over it. You're all you did is steal the fans of a moment.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. You're stealing these guys of a moment. Of maybe some more psychological battle. Because people, I will say this forever. Listen, when we're talking, yes, it is a physical sport. And trust me when I tell you, when we're talking about combat sports and we're talking about fighting, it is damn near 90% mental.
Yeah.
I'm telling you this.
Ricky Glenn also says, I'm so torn with this fight. I love both of these guys.
I'm with you, dude.
but if it comes down to technical boxing, Tyson walls out, balls out. But who knows?
Yeah, man. I'll say this: if it gets past the middle rounds, forget Tyson Fury not walking out of there with that belt.
Yeah,
I'll say that much.
I agree.
Tyson, you should pray for. See, I think what he's doing is it's a mousetrap. He's gonna go heavy in them first rounds.
Yeah.
But it's only to get a lead. He's gonna let Deontay win like a round or two, and then start picking back up again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's one of those things. If you know how your gas tank works. And you know how much you can exert in that period of time, and you could pace it out, and listen, I got a chin, he's gonna win a couple of rounds. If you know you're playing that game, then sitting there saying I'm gonna go so crazy. If he can get in those first 2 rounds, and he can get one where he gets a 2-pointer on him.
Yeah.
There's no way he's not gonna win this fight.
Right.
Any one of these guys just gets a 2-pointer out of her, and it's going to the cars. They got it.
Yeah.
So if you have anyone that has that dominant of a round, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we're still talking like this is what we talk about all the time. You know, the heavyweight division hasn't been much like
it's not what it used to be.
You know, Tyson Fury lit a fire in this division when he took out the Klitschko brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, then we're starting to see Donate's been this guy. He's just never really just quite got the chance that he needed, and
right.
Tyson having the issues of relinquishing the belt and kind of giving this reign to Donate here. So now we're trying to see like who really is the baddest heavyweight of this decade, of this generation, because we haven't, like, no one really wants to talk about it because, like, no one really wants to talk about anything past Lennox Lewis because there's been, like, it's just their style appealing to North American fight fans, I believe.
Yeah.
I think that's what it truly breaks down to.
And also for the Flyers fans, for the Phillies fans, Tigers extend their lead 3-0 against the Phillies. And Greg is also there. So, thanks, Greg. Thanks. When in doubt, you blame Greg. When in doubt, you blame Greg.
Oh, man. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting, man. I mean, this is for legacy.
Mm-hmm.
This is not just for
this is
for
huge.
a belt. But I think it's like who's it more defining for? Is it more for Donate, or is it for more for what Tyson Fury?
Yeah.
Tyson, he's I think what makes it so special is they both kind of come from like similar things. Like Tyson's a white guy, but he's not from that side of the road. Like,
I know what you mean.
Donate comes from like the small family and all that. So it's like they have both of the things that really like it is appealing to the masses.
Yeah.
So it's going to be special. I think that's what makes this fight so big.
Mm-hmm.
The matchup so big. Everything is one of the things. That's why we've been sitting there waiting for some of these fights to happen for so long. Like everyone's like, it's been forever. It's just Pacquiao and Mayweather.
Yeah.
I don't really want to hear that these guys exist. You just don't really want to go out there and watch all this. Maybe some guys you don't really know to find some of these ones. This is what I say all about. Just not just the boxing, but combat sports, and even when we're talking about your regular big four.
Right.
You can't always just watch the pros. You watch these guys as they come up, and you'll know who the best guys are in the world.
Mm.
And not just when it comes down time for Olympic time for some of these sports too.
Right. So, when it's all said and done, who do you have winning?
I gotta go. We gotta go with Lane on this, right? It has to be Tyson Fury.
I'm going with Tyson Fury. As
well. Lane's out there doing his press tour out
little
there.
Promo, yeah.
Yeah, he's bigger than Tyson Fury, man.
Mm-hmm.
So think about that for a second.
Yeah. Well, Tyson's what? He's 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Some big boys, man.
Yeah,
they got to they need to put an extra rope around the ring for these guys.
Yeah, definitely. Also, UFC Fight Night is also tonight.
Yeah.
If anyone's curious, the big one that everyone's going to be paying attention to is Paul Felder versus Dan Hooker.
That's a big fight, man.
This is a big fight.
It's a big fight for Paul, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's had these battles with Edson Barbosa and all that. He's had big wins. He's had huge knockouts. His fighting style is like literally the epitome of a Philadelphia person. I mean,
yeah.
if anyone's ever been in a training room with this guy, dude, if you ever crack him, he just has this look and he just starts like walking you down just because he wants to crack you back.
Yeah, right.
I mean, and I think the only thing that Daniel's like this. He's long. He's gonna have the reach and height advantage, and it comes to this fight, but Paul gets inside and gets to be able to work some things, man. He's going to be in trouble. And you can't really underestimate Paul's ground game either because he's no slouch on the ground. Daniel obviously has the more prolific ground game when it comes to that, when, as far as submission victories and all that. he is no slouch.
Yeah, no.
Paul's no slouch. He's when he was here in Philadelphia and he was here training all the time, he was over there at Daniel Gracie. So, and obviously, being down there, Duke Rufus, he's still not having, undermined that down there in the grappling department. So I'm not worried about it. I think that and these guys' styles is just going to make for a war.
Yeah.
And then obviously things have gotten testy with on social media with the memes and whatnot.
Yeah.
And Daniel got upset about the meme and all that, and they've been really testy, and even to the point that at the weigh-ins, you're starting to see the fire in these guys. That they know what's next. It's not just that I don't think there's no bad blood between them two or anything like that. Regardless of the hype and for the fight and trying to make it exciting and all that, it's gonna be great. These guys are gonna put this thing together, and the Auckland fans are going to be in awe. I'll just say it like that, man. These guys, they're right on that edge of getting these big money fights, these top five fights. So when you put these guys in that situation, not only where they are in their careers, but financially, it just makes for some of these fights to make it even more intriguing. And then you got all the side stuff with Conor McGregor running his mouth about Paul now too. Oh man, please Conor, please make it happen, and make it happen here in Philly too, please, because awesome. we need some more UFC events. We just had the one, and I think it was like a 5-year drought. It was or longer
something
than
like that. Yeah,
it's crazy. So if Paul wins, and that's the other thing. What do you do with these guys with the victory in this fight? Because like I said, both of them are on that edge, and some were like, oh well, let's see, it's going to be like Gage here or Dustin Poirier or whoever gets the probably either or could wind up having the loser of the Khabib versus Tony Ferguson fight. So it's really interesting, and then obviously you still, because it's 55, you still have to talk about Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Especially he's running his mouth about Paul, because here's these stupid fans asking questions like, hey, if you ever get lined up with Conor McGregor, would you change your nickname? Like, why the frick would he do that? He's called the Irish Dragon.
Right.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's not going to change it.
Why would you ask him that? It is the stupidest freaking question I would ever think that, like, a fan or anything. Like, why is that relevant? Because they're both Irish?
Pretty much.
Like, are we that dumb?
All right, coming up against it, let's give our picks. Let me just do the tail of the tape real quick. Paul Felder, 35 years old. Dan Hooker, 30 years old. Paul Felder, height, 5'9". Dan Hooker, 6 feet. Both are 155 pounds.
Did you see Paul at weigh-ins?
No.
He's rocking like a 12-pack. That dude, he has like 3% body fat at weigh-ins. Like, he looks shredded.
Now, the only thing that I think that's really going to matter in this fight is Paul Felder has a 70.5 reach opposed to Dan Hooker 75. Which that makes it.
Okay, but here's the thing. Now let's break that aspect of it there.
Okay.
Paul's 5'9".
Mm-hmm.
Dane's 6.
Yeah.
So even with that reach, if you see how Paul, like, he's gonna want to move in, and with, like, as long as Paul does, the thing about Paul is he gets mad and he freaking just grunts down and he stays still.
Yeah.
That's it. If he's staying still, that's how Daniel's going to want to win in this fight. Mm-hmm. If Paul can stay moving and keep working his angles and keep to his game plan, regardless of what Daniel does, he wins this fight. Mm-hmm. It doesn't, however he wants to.
Yeah.
And the other thing you want to think about now, go look at the mutual opponents. We were just talking about Edson Barboza. Edson Barboza absolutely demolished Daniel Hooker. Mm-hmm. And Paul, lost a decision that I thought he probably could have won, and then the other one he probably did win and lost the decision.
Yeah.
So both times, like, it wasn't just like it was like he was just hanging it. Like, they were in a fight that was close. He could have won either way both times.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Who do you have winning tonight?
I did Paul, however he wants to.
I got Paul Felder as well.
I mean, I love Daniel Hooker. He's well-rounded. He's a great fighter. But, I mean, Paul, this run he's been on, the things he's done to make his game better and everything like that, sometimes the height and reach don't mean nothing.
Right.
We've seen that before in other fights. Like, remember when Dan Henderson fought Michael Bisping? Everyone like the first time, and everyone was like, "Oh, Michael Bisping just gonna do it."
Yeah.
And then what happened? Daniel Henderson had one of the greatest knockouts in UFC history. Listen, I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen. Paul's an exciting guy. He does unorthodox things as well too. It's spinning kicks,
right,
elbows, etc. The thing is, if Daniel can get him off the game. Yeah. My thing is I don't think that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So, it's either if Daniel goes crazy and makes a mistake, Paul makes him pay for it and winds up finishing it, or he can just wind up winning it on points and taking it to the decision. Yeah. I would like to see Paul get an exciting win so he can go out there and
just has that momentum.
Well, no, just basically be able to demand whatever he wants as far as his next fight goes, regardless if it's Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, whoever it happens to be. I just want. And the same goes for Daniel. I want to see him succeed regardless of if he wins or loses, and see him continue to get big fights, because that guy's exciting to watch too. I mean, anyone who's a combat sports fan tonight, you're gonna have your choice of it on both ends of it. If you're a boxing head, if you're a jiu-jitsu guy, if you're Muay Thai, like, listen, there's so much stuff for you guys tonight, and guess what? It's gonna be bloody.
It's gonna be great.
There's gonna be blood. I can guarantee it for both of these fights.
Yeah. But got anything else before we wrap up?
Nah, man. Just hopefully we can get someone else sitting in this chair next week.
Yeah.
We're working on some things as far as that goes. We are working on the giveaway. As we can hammer some more things out, we'll give you guys some more details on it. I'm gonna see what we're gonna do with that. We're gonna get you guys to be a little bit more active with some of the stuff that we're doing over here, and
exciting times ahead.
Yeah.
So before we go, we are brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy. Obviously, baseball season is right here, so if you have any aches or pains from practice, your kids have any aches and pains, go visit the doc. Cherry Hill, Burlington, and Princeton locations, as well as we are brought to you by Bucks Services. The weather's nice. Get your gutters clean, get your decks worked on. Bucks Services. Just let Bucks Services and the doc know A2D Radio sent you. From Jake Friel, Steve Reichel, Ralph Del Vecchio, this is the Weekly Roundup, and we'll check you guys back again next week. Later, guys.